Greetings YouTube, performance reviews here. If you're not familiar with our channel, I give reviews based off my experience as a vacuum technician, which gives me a unique point of view. So definitely go check out some of our older back catalog and consider a subscription. So what I have here is a Sanitaire bypass machine. And if you're not familiar with Sanitaire, they were Eureka's heavy duty line and now have been sold off to Bissell. But they're still an interesting machine, and they're usually a pretty good value. I see these online for about $200 to $250 right now, 2020, 2019. We're kind of at the end of the year here. But that's what I see these at. Now, originally this was a Eureka vacuum that sold for $120 to $150, and they were made in both bagged and bagless, both with the Eureka and the Sanitaire name. Now, what you have here is a bypass machine, which is apparently CRI certified, which kind of surprises me why they bother on such a low-end machine, but it is. You have a height adjustment, so it's good for soft carpet, and it's only good for carpet. That's the thing, is originally this machine had a marking on here for bare floor, and a lot of machines did back in the day. They've removed that from all of those machines because you need to stop the brush roller on bare floor for it to be effective for pickup. And I'll go over that later in the video when we get into pickup tests and such. But that's what we have there. Now, when you go to use this height adjustment, you can turn it in a down position, but really you want the vacuum locked up while you turn it. It's a lot easier. Because this machine is based off a cyclonic platform or bagless platform as well, it doesn't get the lowest. It does have a nice long cord. The cord is over 30 feet. In terms of what we get, zoom out here, show you the rest of that. Do have a nice clear clog indicator, so if something gets stuck in there, you'll see it right there. This just pops off, and voila. Now this clear part is a replaceable part by itself as of right now, but they do vary model to model, so just make sure you order the exact one that you need. It is a two-piece wand system. They're very short wands, to give you an idea how short they are compared to my arm. But they are their own fitting. You could probably find an adapter, but this is its own fitting. So keep that in mind. I am missing the crevice tool. I got this secondhand on loan from a collector. So a big thank you to that collector. They know who they are. There's a dusting brush there, very basic. So what is the reason that you would be considering this vacuum? Well, very simple. You have a supply catalog or a vendor or a certain store that sells Sanitaire. So you're curious about this machine because it's in your budget and so forth. It also has the words Quiet Clean on here. And clean is actually spelled with a C, not a K. A lot of the Sanitaire products and Eureka products would spell it with a K for some reason. It doesn't say that on here. It also has a sealed HEPA filter, so it's compliant with the newer OSHA standards. That's a good thing. And it appears to be sealed. The other thing about this particular version, like I said, there's a bagless version, but this is the bagged version. Now I am running the filter air. These are the best bag they ever made for this machine. Right there, and you can see it's got a nice latex gasket, collar, it's cardboard, so it is going to leak a little bit through that cardboard, and you can see it's quite dusty. It's odd that it has this square fitting, and if you don't have the bag in there, it's not going to shut. So this cardboard, these weird things on the side actually push a plastic mechanism in there. Now you got a pre-motor filter under there as well. Talk about what's on the side. There is a HEPA filter that claims to be washable. As we all know, washing HEPA filters is never good. The impurities in the water will get stuck in the filter and make it worse, let alone if you put any soap or anything on there. So I don't recommend washing this. I think that's just kind of a marketing gag. Don't do it, just replace it. And these can be had for about 25 bucks a piece. Again, right now, maybe a little more, a little less, depending on where you are in the world. Now, welcome to In the Shop. This is the segment of the review where I talk about the mechanical bits of the vacuum cleaner, though this is not to this particular vacuum cleaner. So I'll set that aside. I want to talk about the sealed system and how well this works or doesn't work in the case of this machine. So first of all, everything's forced down through the motor, through some nice thick gaskets, into a single stage, single fan bypass motor on ball bearings. So, sounds a little squeaky to the carbon brushes, so that's nice. There is a piece of foam here. This is intended for sound reduction, though over time this foam will stink, break down, and need to be removed or replaced at some point, or the whole machine replaced. Now, everything in this, you can see they have revisions to the plastic. It's not glass reinforced or anything, it's just ABS plastic, and again, nice thick seal around. There's a nice thick seal around the wires, and this is a polyurethane. This is not just a rubber, so it's going to last a lot longer. So I think that the sealing part of this machine, the filter seal, is a true filter seal, and I really like that, and I think that's kind of a big deal in the machine at this price point. And again, it's going to be something a lot of people aren't going to see as a big deal, but it really is. And the construction ain't bad either in terms of how it's put together. Maintenance friendly, I guess we're going to say, for lack of a better word, for some of the little bits. Like this hose comes right off. The covers all come right off. Everything's very straightforward. Brush roller is definitely not a commercial brush roller. Well, maybe it is now. You've seen more and more wood brush rollers. But it does have nice sealed ball bearings, a nice felt seal there. But again, nothing special. And there is a piece of metal here to try to keep your belt from burning. These are all things they found on the Eureka Bravo that were issues. So this is again nothing really particular to this machine, but it's on there. I think the rubber belt kind of disqualifies this from being a commercial vacuum in some ways, because it is something that has to be changed out, and it's additional training to maintenance staff. And I know a lot of people who are vacuum collectors and stuff aren't going to understand this, but this is actually a problem for a lot of maintenance staff. And it's additional training to maintenance staff, and I know a lot of people who are vacuum collectors and stuff aren't going to understand this, but this is actually a problem for a lot of maintenance staff. The filter, they claim that it's rinsable. It's a paper HEPA. We know never to rinse paper HEPA filters. Again, water minerals will get stuck in the filter and make it worse. So that is a replaceable item, and it is sealed up very nicely. The bags, however, there's no HEPA bags available. This is the best bag they ever had. These the premium 5 bag. Again, nothing super special, but that's what we got. We're going to test the working vacuum. Now, if you're not familiar with working vacuum, I've got a whole video explaining this. But this is kind of like a dynometer for your vacuum. It's an easy way to see how much practical power the machine has. Sealed. Working. So about 39 or so. 38. So the machine actually makes somewhat decent power in terms of working vacuum, even though to the hand the machine kind of feels underpowered. But again, working vacuum is a great way to test how much power is actually getting in the air circuit. The difference between working and sealed is almost none, which is really, really good. You can't say that with a lot of vacuums. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is a pickup test. And we're going to take a look at our usual mess here, zoom in for you. So if you're not familiar with our pickup test, we have cat litter, we have breakfast cereal, flour, and some fresh dog hair, as my dog is always shedding. And now I've got soft carpet, so this can be difficult to pick up, but let's see how it does. And I'm also running a point of view camera, so you'll get to see that as well, up close and personal. how that did. A little bit of pet hair left behind. Not very much. The cat litter is the one I thought it was going to struggle with, but it sucked that right up. And it doesn't seem to snowplow when adjusted properly. So I'm going to give that a so-so in terms of its carpet pickup ability. Again, kind of surprising results. I kind of expected it to be a little worse than that, but that's good. So I think if you don't have a lot of hair, like in an office building, this would be acceptable. It's not overpowered. It doesn't have a great amount of power, but it is what I would deem acceptable. All right, let's talk about the Sanitaire and hard flooring. As I stated earlier, there's no brush shutoff. There is a low carpet setting, and there's no, I hope you guys can see that, there's no squeegee under here. So I'm not going to put the normal mess down on bare floor. I've just put some breakfast cereal and some pet hair just to show you what's going to happen. And a lot of you already know what's going to happen here. But here we go. Spoiler alert, a lot of the Rice Krispies just ended up behind there. It just shot everything back and, of course, didn't pick up a lot of it. Now, I hope some of you, at least I hope the microphone picked it up, is the sound, you can just hear those Rice Krispies on the floor there. The sound that made is it's really hard on the vacuum itself. The brush roller bearings cannot handle the impact of the tile. They can handle the soft carpet, and the padding under the carpet, but they cannot handle the tile. So if you do decide to do this for some godforsaken reason, you're going to end up beating that vacuum to death. And that's why the roller needs to be shut off on bare floor, with the exception of a couple SIBO products. But the brush roller really needs to be shut off on bare floor. Most brush rollers are not made for that. We're just going to test its maneuverability around objects. Now, being an upright without a swivel neck, it is a little clunkier than a lot of more modern machines. But again, this design is about 20 years old now. Won't go under that lip, but pushing this around, even though the felt weight of the machine is kind of in the hand and up high, it's all right. It's not bad, it's not great, but it's just average. Well, this is one of the few uprights, I think, that doesn't fit under my high couch. As you can see, it suffers from the same problem that most bagless vacuums suffer, is that the bin is just too high. And that has to do with the older design and the fact that this is a bagless platform / bagged platform. So that's something to keep in mind if you're trying to get under something like that. It's going to be difficult. And you do have that double pedal as well if you make it lay all the way flat. So the cord on this is extremely long. As you can see, it is one of the longer ones I've tested. Now the con to the cord being that long is there's no cord rewind mechanism. There never is on uprights, but that does mean you're going to sit there and you are going to line this for a long time. But having a long cord can be super handy, especially in commercial buildings. I want to talk about the stair cleaning performance of this machine. Now, being an upright, it is naturally the wrong tool to use on stairs. Uprights are for one story, lots of carpet typically. And the purpose of an upright, remember, is to save you money. It is not a convenient form factor. So the machine's not particularly light, doesn't particularly balance on the stairs. You can maybe do that if you had to. The hose is this stretch hose, and it's what they call a high mounted hose, which means the machine can tip over easily. So there is an anchor on the bottom of the machine to keep that from happening. So that kind of mitigates the high mount, but it also robs about a foot of hose from you. So the idea is try not to use this for stairs, but if you had to, you could get up maybe half a flight of stairs before you run out of hose. So in conclusion, it's a little on the bulky side. I think the weight is manageable. The sound is pretty good. The sound is pretty quiet as advertised. But the lack of HEPA bags or synthetic bags, the rubber belt that needs to be changed in terms of maintenance, I think you'd be better off going with something like a SIBO, a Karcher type product, or even taking a look at Windsor as well. Even though those machines might be almost double this price, I think that the maintenance cost and knowing how to take this thing apart and put it back together, that would be beneficial. The other thing on this cleaner is the future is very uncertain with Sanitaire right now. Not knowing what Bissell's going to do with Sanitaire and parts availability, given Bissell's track record with parts availability after just a couple years, or sometimes not offering parts at all, would make me pass this up. And if you're on a budget, I would, as of right now, look at something like a Hoover Hush Tone Plus that has a lifetime belt and pretty much all the same features. I don't think this is a bad cleaner by any means, and if this is all you have to choose from your catalog, and it's between this and, say, a dump out bag Sanitaire, I would pick this, of course. But I don't think it really has a whole lot of benefits to it versus the other things on the market. And, you know, this machine being almost a 20-year-old design, that's to be expected. So, good night, Sweet Prince Sanitaire, and thanks for watching the video, folks. Give this video a thumbs up, share it on social media. That helps us out so much. That helps us out almost as much as our Patreon supporters, who are awesome and help make videos like this possible.